Okay, looking at our do now for today, we had a couple of problems that look very similar to the problems that we had yesterday. We're going to talk about some of these problems. Today is going to be a lot of work and review and practicing some of the different things that we learned yesterday and seeing some different types of problems. We'll talk a little bit about some different approaches there. So looking at this, we have this setup. We see that all of our angles are set up on a line, which means I know that they're going to be equal to 180 degrees in total. I'm going to go through and one of the things we're going to focus in on today is labeling as much as you can before you write the equation. What I see here is that this is a 90-degree angle, so I know all three of these are going to add up to 180 degrees. So I have x plus 90 plus 14 is equal to 180. Using the solving, I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. X plus 104 is equal to 180. X plus 104 plus negative 104 is equal to 180 plus negative 104. And that gives me x is equal to 76. That's answer choice B. And as we look over here, we have a different problem. So one thing I'm looking at here is we're going to talk about trying to label as much as we can before we even get started. So I notice the two intersecting lines here, which means that I'm going to have two pairs of vertical angles. Alright, so I know those are going to be equal to each other. What I notice though is that there's nothing I can do to kind of figure out those two without using an equation. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on that. But I do notice that this blue part is going to be equal to this blue part. And that's actually going to allow me to set up my equation for y, because I know that those vertical angles are going to be equivalent. So looking at this, this is the combination of y and 51. So y plus 51 is equal to 147. So we have some quick solving to do there. Y plus 51 plus negative 51 is equal to 147 plus negative 51. Y is equal to, that should give me 96, which is none of the above. Okay, so again, we're going to look at a couple more problems today. I'm going to go in and out of me giving you or showing you how to do a problem, you having some practice, so on and so forth. As a result, today's aim is pretty much the same as yesterday's aim, which is Kipsters will be able to write and solve equations with angle relationships. So as we talked about yesterday, we really talked about three different main relationships. We talked about relationships for vertical angles on a line and not on a line. So these first three should be ones that you're going to be able to do. What I would suggest is go ahead and pause the video, try as much as you can, and then if you get stuck, then kind of check in the video, watch the video just a little bit to see if it can't get you going, and then after you finish the problem, watch the video through that check, and I'll go ahead and explain them all. So go ahead and pause the video now and get started on this first one. So looking at this first one, the first thing that we kind of talked about yesterday was looking for straight lines. That way we would be able to identify any vertical angles or any angles that would add up to 180. What I see here is if I line this one up, this one is not quite a straight line. So I don't have any straight lines here, which means that the only rule I can use would be talking about 360 degrees. I think one of the common mistakes here is to leave out this angle over here. We can see that this one is supposed to be a 90-degree angle. So we see that one's 90 degrees. That means this all has to add up to 360 degrees. So our equation is going to be just kind of going around the circle. B plus 66 plus 90 plus 59 plus 41 is going to be equal to 360. So again, kind of big mistake here is making sure that we're getting this one labeled in, and that's why we're talking about today. One of the big key points is like thinking about labeling as much as we can before we set things up. Combining some like terms, I'm going to do this a little bit at a time. B plus 156, and these two combine to be 100 equals 360. Combine these, is going to be B plus 256 is equal to 360. Thinking through that, I can see that that's going to be 104, but let's go ahead and just make sure that we've got the equation solving process down by showing that we know the additive inverse. That adds up to 0. B is equal to 104. And we'll go ahead and box that in. Alright, go ahead and, now that you've checked this one, go ahead and pause and move on to the next one. So as I look at this one, I want to label as much as I can. Not that it necessarily is going to be useful to me, but I do recognize that these are going to be vertical angles. And that, sorry, those are not going to be vertical angles. I have these two crossing, which means these are going to be vertical angles. So this one would be a Z because it's across from another one. Same thing over here. This one is across from this angle, so this one's also going to be a Z. And this one up here is a vertical angle with this one down here, so this one's going to be 158, which means we actually have a couple of choices here. Really, I recognize this as being a straight line, and I know something about all of the pieces here. So I'm going to treat this one as if it is 180 degrees. So first of all, I need to write the equation. I didn't really give you the space to do this, but our equation we're going to put here. Again, you could add it around to 360 degrees. I'm just going to use the half of it. That's 180 degrees. And so I'm going to have Z plus 158 plus Z is equal to 180. Combining like terms, I'm going to get 2Z is plus 158 is equal to 180. I'm going to add the negative 158 to both sides. So 180 plus negative 158. 2Z is equal to 32 divided by 2 divided by 2 gives me that Z is equal to 16. Box that in. Alright, now move on to this one. Before you get started on this one, do make sure that you recognize that this not only asks you to find, you're not only going to have to find the value of x, but it asks you to find the measure of a couple of these angles. So you're going to have to use x once you figure that out to find those angles. So looking at this one quite clearly noticing we're on a line here. I notice that this is labeled as a 90-degree angle. It's going to help me with my equation. These are all going to set up to be equal to 180 as I come around here. So x, 90, and 5x. X plus 90 plus 5x is equal to 180. Combine my like terms. That's going to give me 6x plus 90 is equal to 180. 6x plus 90 plus negative 90 equal to 180 plus negative 90. Adds up to 0. Gives me 6x is equal to 90. And that means x is equal to 15. But that's not the end of this particular problem because we're asked to find what EPB is. So EPB, that's this one here, that's just x. Alright, so that one actually is pretty easy. That one's just 15 degrees. And CPA, this one is 5 times x. So CPA, angle CPA is equal to 5x, which is equal to 5 times 15. And that's going to give me 75 degrees. Alright, as we move over here, I'm going to do this one kind of for you. I don't suggest that you necessarily start this one without. And again, one of the things that I talked about is thinking through being able to label as much as you can. So when I look at these, I see a bunch of intersecting lines, which means I have a bunch of vertical angles. So across from this one, this vertical angle is also going to be the same. That's x. Across from this one, this is going to be a vertical angle. It's going to be the same. That one's going to be 68. Across from this one, same angle. This one's going to be 86. Now I've got a couple of choices here. If I want to find the value for x, I can be writing with some straight lines, 180-degree angles, or I could be coming all the way around because I do know something about every piece. So really it's up to you. For me, obviously, 180, I'm going to go with the straight line. That's going to be a lot easier to deal with. And so I can write my equation, 68 plus 86 plus x is equal to 180 degrees. So when I put these together, combine these together, that's going to give me 154 plus x is equal to 180. Add my negative 154 to both sides. It's going to give me x is equal to 26. Alright, go ahead and try this next one on your own. It's going to be very similar. Again, thinking about the first thing that you want to think about doing is, hey, can I use vertical angles to label anything else on there, and then figure it out. The one thing you will notice on this one is that you have a variable, an unknown for x and for y. And so you're going to have to be able to think through kind of what order do I need to do things in. So try that one out on your own. If you get stuck, go ahead and check in with the video. Alright, so as I look at this one here, I'm looking at using all my vertical angles. This angle is vertical with 40, so this is going to be 40 degrees. This angle is vertical with the 25, so that's 25 degrees. And this one is vertical with the x, so that one is an x. I also noticed that the y is actually vertical with the 96, so that makes the y really easy to figure out. So the y is equal to 96, so I can actually go ahead and label this one as 96. Now we've got a bunch of different options here. We can use 180 degrees, or we could go all the way around. Again, given this option, I'm going to go with 180 degrees. There are a bunch of different 180 degree lines you can start with. I'm just going to choose this one. So that's going to give me the equation of 40 plus x plus 25 plus 96 is equal to 180. Combining all of my like terms, 65 plus 96 is going to give me 161. X plus 161 is equal to 180. And I can add negative 161 to both sides. So x is equal to 19. And that's all we're really asked to do, because we already found y up here. Y is equal to 96, x is equal to 19. Alright, so as we look at this next one, I want you to go ahead and just look with this one with me as I label. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to label as much as I can. This one's going to be 90 degrees. This one is also going to be 90 degrees. But as we look at this one, it's very common for us to want to say that this angle is 77 degrees, when as we actually look at the two lines that intersect there, it's these two lines. So when we look at this, this whole thing is going to be 77 degrees. So it's not just this piece. We can't just label that one piece 77 degrees. So that's just something to be aware of when we're going ahead and labeling this one, that's that whole piece. The important thing here is to recognize, though, that we actually do have a straight line that has enough information on it that we can solve for x for just that. So actually none of that over there even really matters. Alright, go ahead and jump through and finish solving this one. All right, so we end up with x is equal to 13 for this one. All right, so let's flip on over. The next one I'm going to want you to go ahead and try on your own and check in with the video if you need some support. And then we'll go from there. All right, so looking through this one again, I want to start by labeling as much as I can. This is a 90-degree angle. This is a 90-degree angle. I notice that our straight lines are here and here, which means that we can see that this angle over here is vertical, this is x, and that really helps me out. If I really want to, I can think about kind of really two different ways, but here we see that this is going to give me a straight line, so I'm going to go ahead and solve for x first using this 180 degrees. It's 90 plus 27 plus x is equal to 180. 117 plus x is equal to 180. Negative 117 plus 117. X is equal to 63. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on here because I might want to use that. Finding y. And sure enough I do, because for me I look at this and I'm like, oh, well, it would be really nice if I could use this straight line for y. So my equation for y, I can do 90 plus y plus 63 is equal to 180. Y plus 153 is equal to 180. So y is equal to 27. Okay, looking at this next one, I think this is one that you should be able to do on your own. Just recognize here that we're being able to identify here that this is also asking us for the angles down here at the bottom. So once we solve for x, we're going to have to use that information to find a couple of the values. Notice here that there are no straight lines, so we can't use the 180 degrees. That means we're going to have to go all the way around and use 360 degrees. So I'm going to have to add all the pieces together. Just quickly labeling this one as 90 degrees since it has the box down in the center. That allows me to write the equation 2x plus 225 plus 3x plus 90 is equal to 360. So combining my like terms, this is 5x plus 315 is equal to 360. 5x plus 315 plus negative 315 is equal to 360 plus negative 315. 5x is equal to 45, which means that x is equal to 9. So we're asked to find JAH, that's this one here, that's supposed to be 2x. Angle JAH is equal to 2x, which is 2 times 9, which is 18. Angle GAF, so again that's this one over here, angle GAF is equal to 3 times x, 3 times 9, which is 27. Alright, looking over here at this one, again this is one that I think that you should be able to do. Please ignore some of the extra markings that seem to have come off on our copies over here. We're being asked and told that this chunk here, from here to here, is 5x, and this part is a 90-degree angle. So in case you couldn't quite see or were not clear on what that was. This one you should be able to do on your own, so go ahead and jump ahead on this one on your own as well. So So seeing no straight lines, I'm going to have to use the idea that this one is going to have to go all the way around, all 360 degrees. So going ahead and setting up this one. I'm going to do 24 plus x plus 90 plus 5x is equal to 360 degrees. Combining my like terms, that's going to give me 6x plus 114 is equal to 360. 6x plus 114 plus negative 114 is equal to 360 plus negative 114. 6x is equal to, this is going to be 246 divided by 6 divided by 6. It's going to give me x is equal to 41. It just asks us to solve for x, so I'm just going to stop there. X is equal to 41. Alright, looking at this next one, this is something that we should at this point be able to do on your own. It asks you to go ahead and jump through this in the first part just to make sure that we're clear on what the directions are. It's actually already labeled the two values for you, so you actually don't need to do that. But we want to write an equation that describes the relationship between DBE, so that's angle DBE, and angle FBG. So looking at that, it looks like the only relationship we would be able to do that involved both of them would be this whole piece here. But thinking through this really quickly, we want to recognize and label what we can. This is a vertical angle, so this one's going to be 50 degrees. This is a vertical angle, so this is going to be y degrees. This is a vertical angle, so this is going to be x degrees. We're also told up here that DBE is 4 times the measure of FPG. So actually this is the relationship that it's asking us to write here, is that DBE is 4 times the other one. So as I look back over here, it says, alright, DBE is this one. So y is supposed to be 4 times as big as FBG, which is our x. So y is equal to 4 times x. And hopefully that should give you enough to get started, because now I can replace this with 4x, and I can replace this with 4x. Alright, so find the value of x. That means you're going to have to use an equation, and then use that to find the values of those different measures. So to find the value of x, I'm going to pick a straight line, this one here, 180 degrees. So I'm going to write my equation, x plus 50 plus 4x equal to 180. 5x plus 50 is equal to 180. 5x plus 50 plus negative 50 is equal to 180 plus negative 50. 5x is equal to 130. So x is equal to 16. Not 16, 36. 26. Boy, math is tricky today. Alright, x is equal to 26. Find the value of x is 26. Now find the measures of each of these different angles. Well, FBG is just x, so FBG is equal to x, so angle FBG is equal to 26. Done. Angle CBD. Angle CBD. We labeled that one as also equal to x because it was vertical. So angle CBD is equal to 26. Looking through the next one, angle ABF. ABF ABF. That one we have labeled as 4x, so angle ABF is equal to 4x, which would be 4 times 26, which is 104. So angle ABF is equal to 104. Angle GBE, that was vertical to the 50, so we actually know that one's just 50. And angle DBE, that one was also 4x. Angle DBE is equal to 4x. So angle DBE is 4 times 26, which is 104. What is the measure of angle ABG? Angle ABG. So I'm going to outline this one. A, B, and G. Alright, so these have two adjacent angles. So we have 4x, which we said this is 104. And this is 26. So that means angle ABG is equal to 26 plus 104. So angle ABG is 130 degrees. And the relationship we used, those were adjacent angles, so we just added them together. We could also say, and this is a new vocabulary term, this is the angle addition property. Just add them together. All right, go ahead and move on to your alone time.